Hi, my name is Michael. I'm the director and founder of the Infinity Institute. At the Infinity Institute, we teach the art of being fully alive. I believe we come into this world as fully conscious beings, the full embodiment of pure love and pure joy. We are completely aware of this until the conditioning of society takes over our awareness, sometime between the age of 2 to 3 years old. At this time, we experience earth amnesia and forget who we truly are. We continue to live our lives in this state of unconsciousness unless we wake up. The following is a brief story about how I woke up and became fully alive. When I was 13 years old, two pivotal things occurred in my life. The first was when I realized I didn't want to live my life like all the other adults I had met up to that time. I didn't want to live a life that was getting up in the morning, drinking a cup of coffee, getting in my car and commuting to work, working all day for someone else, commuting home, eating dinner, watching TV, and then going to sleep. Then doing it all over again, each and every day, except weekends. On weekends, you either worked around the house doing repairs and maintenance or chores, or you got in your car and drove to a short vacation somewhere. In the middle of all this eating, sleeping, driving, and working, you managed to get married, have kids, buy a house, get a promotion or a better job, put your kids through college, get divorced, remarried or not, got sick, took a bunch of pharmaceutical drugs, which alleviated your symptoms, but the side effects created a new sickness, to the point you needed surgery, and eventually died broke because your medical bills ate up all your life savings. People never thought twice about their lives. They never paid attention to the stirring. Maybe they felt good about it, maybe they didn't. What was the point of it all? It never made any sense to me. Not a lick. In fact, even at the age of 13, it seemed insane to me. I would rather die than live like that. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, but I knew with an excruciating passion that I didn't want my life to be like that. I felt like a stranger in a strange land. One evening later that year, I was watching television when a new show came on the air. It was like nothing I had seen before. It had beautiful cinematography and an unusual theme. The show was called Kung Fu, starring David Carradine as Kwai Chang Caine. Kwai Chang was a Shaolin priest who left China to come to America. Each episode of the show was a new lesson in Taoist and Buddhist philosophy. While watching the show each week, a light bulb went on for me. I realized there was a different way for me to live my life. I admired Kwai Chang because for the majority of his life, he was humble, compassionate, thoughtful, and kind. Yet he was also a great martial artist who was powerful enough to kick ass when he was cornered. There was a wonderful balance to him, strong, skilled, and powerful when he needed to be, compassionate, peaceful, caring, and kind by nature. I wanted to be like a Shaolin priest. I wanted to be like Kwai Chang Caine. In a way, Kwai Chang Caine became my first spiritual teacher. Following in Kwai Chang's footsteps, I started studying martial arts. Throughout the years, I've studied 9 different martial arts from 6 different countries and cultures. In addition to martial arts, I've studied dance, gymnastics, athletics, music, many healing arts, several of the fine arts, and any and every religion, philosophy, and psychology I could find. My teachers have been some of the finest in the world. I met my first spiritual teacher while I was attending college. His name is Ray. He was a professor who happened to be the head gymnastics coach at the university. Ray blew my mind and opened my heart. I had been searching for a teacher like him for what seemed like my whole life. I spent every free moment I had with him. We had inspiring talks, and he loaned me many books. One day, as a gift, he gave me a book called Way of the Peaceful Warrior. Like a hot knife through butter, the content of that story pierced my heart. Years later, I tracked down the author of the book, Dan Millman. I studied with Dan for 4 years. I also worked for him as his senior instructor. It was an important time for me. Dan tied together my years of martial arts practice with my spiritual quest. The spark that was ignited in me by Kwai Chang and fanned by Ray was now integrated by Dan. He made martial arts what I dreamed they would be all those years ago, watching Kwai Chang on TV. An expression of life and love. Dan became my mentor and good friend. What I learned most from Dan was how to live from my heart, especially the courage aspect of heart. Courage is a key ingredient to waking up and facing your fears. Training with and working for Dan were some of the best years of my life. I was closer to my truth and essence than I had ever been. The peaceful warrior was Dan's expression, but I still hadn't realized my true calling. I didn't know it at the time, but the Matrix still had me in its grips. I hadn't freed the music inside of me. Shortly after Dan, I met a man named Richard Moss. I learned about energy from Richard, particularly how to build energy and contain it without letting it leak away. I also learned how to build energy within a group. There is a way to build energy to the point that it shifts the entire group's awareness to a more expanded state. The group energy intensifies to the point of creating a transformational shift for everyone in the group. There is real power in numbers. As I continued on my quest, I met Tom Brown Jr. From Tom, I learned how to connect intimately with the earth, to the point where it really does feel like the earth is my loving mother. What a gift to be able to realize the earth is a living being and directly experience this connection. After a short time with Tom, I met a wise old woman named Beverly. A shaman, metaphysician, and esotericist, she became my spiritual teacher for 4 years. She was to me what Don Juan was to Carlos Castaneda, what Socrates was to Dan Millman, and Stalking Wolf was to Tom Brown Jr. She taught me how to look inward, to recognize my truth and essence. She helped me realize I had been looking everywhere except within myself. What I had been searching for had been within me all along. She showed me how to integrate these truths into every aspect of my daily life. For a time there, I thought I was complete. I thought I had completed my quest and realized the truth of who I was. That thinking turned out to be very arrogant. At the turn of the century, things changed dramatically. In November of the year 2000, On the eve of the election between Al Gore and George Bush, I met Danny Sheehan. This unexpected meeting turned out to be another pivotal moment in my life. I really wasn't looking for anything. I never saw it coming, and it completely blindsided me. Danny opened my eyes to the matrix of illusions, the matrix that we are all living in. Just like Alice in Wonderland, I went tumbling down the rabbit hole into a world I didn't know existed. At first, it was fun, but after a couple of years, it became extremely dark. Eventually, I saw the light at the end of the tunnel. After being lost, confused, and disillusioned, I emerged from the chrysalis a new man, a transformed man in a new world. It's funny because I never worked directly with Danny. He would give a group talk and I would ask him questions later. I would take my questions and his answers and investigate them on my own. Our paths kept crossing every 6 months to a year, like some poetic synchronicity. As I look back in hindsight, my whole life has been like that, guided by fate, destiny, and synchronicity. I've been in the right place at the right time to meet the right people, to open my eyes and my heart. What a great adventure. If you are watching this now, the same is happening to you. With the help of Ray, Dan, Richard, Tom, Beverly, and Danny, I've discovered an inner peace, harmony, and beauty that makes my life, no matter how difficult, an absolute joy to live. I owe my life to all my teachers, for I wouldn't be the man I am today without their guidance. There is only one way to repay them for what they have given me: by giving the same gift to others. My life is dedicated to the conscious evolution of the human family, which is why I created the Infinity Institute. My first act of service was sharing the bodywork I learned from John Upledger and Fritz Smith. As highly skilled and inventive osteopaths, they understood the interface of structure, function, and energy. Out of this understanding, they created craniosacral therapy and zero balancing, respectively. Shortly after that, the opportunity to teach self-defense classes for women opened up. It turns out 90% of my students had experienced either spousal battery, incest, rape, or any combination of the three. I was shocked by the horrors they shared with me. Through their stories and their commitment, my courses became a source of empowerment for them. It was also one of the most efficient and effective ways of healing from the traumas they had gone through. Those women were amazing. I learned so much from them. Their courage and determination is so inspiring. I'm still learning from them each and every day. My approach to serving the human family has evolved over the years. I call it harmonic alchemy. It's a combination of energy healing, creative movement, dynamic meditation, and adventures in consciousness. You can experience this through residential intensives or doing one-on-one sessions. If you would like some transformational guidance finding out how the interplay of fate, destiny, and synchronicity are influencing your life, I'm here for you.